Hello Team Post 19, I'm Graham and welcome back to the cooking cupboard. Today we are going to be cooking some yummy scrummy potato wedges, and you can make these plain or you can have herbs and spices with them. Totally up to you. I'm going to show you a selection of what I've got, but it's very simple. Only need a few ingredients: potatoes and some herbs and some spices of your choice. So let's have a look at the ingredients. But before we do that, let's turn the oven on because we're going to have to bake these in the oven. So we're on a fan oven at 220 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. It's 480 something, I believe, but I can find out for you. Let's look at the ingredients. So out of the cooking cupboard today, we've got some olive oil, we've got some herbs and spices. So I've got, what have we got? Mixed herbs, bit of cayenne pepper, bit of smoky paprika, some oregano. I've got a sweet potato and an ordinary red potato here, and I'm going to show you how to prepare these. I've also got some olive oil, I've got a big sharp knife, and I've got a bowl. And I think that's about all you need, apart from a baking dish to go in the oven and a brush to scrub your potatoes with. So let's get going. So here we are at the kitchen sink, and I've got my red potato here, I've got my sweet potato here, and I've got my scrubbing brush as well. And we're just going to give these a good old wash, and then we'll do some prep. So the water's on. Let's do the red one first. So I'm just giving this a really good wash under the tap. There we are, first one done. And now the sweet potato. This one's a bit dirtier, so I'm going to give it a harder scrub. Just remember, any dirt you don't scrub off, you're going to be eating later on. There's all kinds of ways you can do this. Anyone know the little green pads? You can use these little green pads as well. These are really good for cleaning potatoes. Look at that. There we are, that's good enough for me. Water off. Gonna dry my hands and dry the potatoes, and then we're gonna get cooking. So here we have our red potato, and we're gonna start by prepping that. This one's got a bit of a mark in it, so I'm just gonna cut that out carefully, avoiding your fingers. Still a little bit in there, so we're gonna cut that out and go in the compost. And we're going to start by, how we're going to do this. We're going to cut the potato completely in half. I think this one is possibly a little bit too big. And remember, for cutting safely, always lay whatever you're cutting flat. Don't lay it that way because your knife's going to slip that way. And so what we're going to do, these are going to be really chunky. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you can see, these are all about the same thickness. They are really big, I have to say. And we're going to do the same with the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and remember, always keeping your fingers behind the blade. So there we are. We've got some really big potato wedges to go in to the oven. Look at those. These are the potatoes, and we're going to do exactly the same with the sweet potato. Look at that, a pinky orange colour inside. And what I might do is cut those in half again. Like that, and we'll go on to the next step. So for our next step, we're going to make the coating for our spicy herby potato wedges. And all I'm going to do is add my herbs and spices. So I'm going to use mixed herbs, and you don't have to be accurate. So I'm going to do 2 heaped teaspoons of mixed herb. I'm going to use a little bit of smoky paprika because that's quite an intense flavour. So only that much, less than half a teaspoon. And again, with cayenne pepper, you could use chili powder, it's a bit spicier, but with the cayenne, a teaspoon, and that's all in. The other thing I'm going to put in there is some salt, and some pepper. Right, next in the pot, I'm using olive oil, but you can pretty much use any oil of your choice. Olive oil is healthiest, so try and use the healthy oil. So 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'll put that there, out of the way with the lid on. Just mix it up, and that is ready for your potatoes to go in. So there we are, and this is the fun bit. Put your potatoes in the bowl with your mixture, and then get your hands in there. And what we're trying to do is get our potatoes completely covered in our herb and spice mixture. There we are, simple as that. I'm just going to quickly wash my hands, and then these will be ready for the oven. Right, these are ready to go into the oven. I've got my baking tray here, and all I'm going to do is a small teaspoon of oil. This is just to stop the wedges from sticking to the pan. I've got a bit of clean kitchen towel. I'm just going to rub that over the bottom of the pan. And then this is the best bit. Let's line them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 potato wedges. And these are going to go straight in the oven, which is preheated to 220 degrees Celsius on fan. Here we go. Straight in the oven, and they need to be in there for about 40-45 minutes. But what we're going to do, every 15 minutes we're going to give them a little turn. So for the sweet potato wedges, exactly the same procedure. I'm going to use different flavourings though, but still with some olive oil. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put an extra one in because there's a lot more sweet potato than ordinary potato. And this time I'm just going to put a little sprinkle of mixed herbs because I'm going to do something slightly different here. Half a teaspoon of garlic granules, not too much, don't want it too garlicky. Right, in this jar is my homemade chili powder with some of the hottest chilies known to man. So we're going to put a little bit of that in, not too much, 1/4 teaspoon. And then finally, the pièce de résistance, some curry powder. If you don't want any spices at all and just want them plain, you just use your oil and maybe a bit of salt and pepper. You don't have to put spices in whatsoever. Bit of pepper. And here we go again. Just mix that all in. Nice and lovely. The aim is to get them coated all over with the mixture. Use it all up. Doesn't matter if you get your hands all mucky, you can always wash them. And then here we are again. I've got a bit of oil in my pan, just going to rub that over so they don't stick. And here we go. Lots of lovely wedges all laying on their sides. Probably best not to have them touching, but if you can't help it, it doesn't really matter. They just won't be as crispy. So there we are. These are ready to go in the oven for 40-45 minutes as well. So here we go. We're just going to get the wedges out and turn them over. They've had their first 15 minutes. Be very careful because these are hot. And all we're going to do is just flip them over like that. I can see that they're already softening up, getting yummy and scrummy. Oh, that one's a little bit stuck. That's why it's important to oil your tray first. There we are, and back in the oven. So here we go with the second turning. I was gonna try and get these to balance on their skin side, but I don't know if I can. I think I've possibly cut these too thin. Yeah. So I'm just gonna flip them back over to the other side so that they can get nice and crispy. I think that one will stand up. I think that one's gonna stand up. Here we go. These are cooking up really deliciously. They're gonna be light and fluffy on the inside and crispy on the outside. Back in the oven, last 10 minutes. So here we have our spicy wedges, fresh out of the oven. They're nice and hot. And what we're gonna do now is just plate up. And we're gonna add these to our supper tonight. And we've got some continental sausage and a bit of salad and some spicy wedges. Here we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? So there we are. Spicy wedges, bit of salad, bit of sausage and some mayo, and we're good to go. All we need to do now is the taste test. So make sure your wedges have cooled down a bit before you try them out, and dive in. I'm just going to dip them into my mayo. Look at that. Crunchy. Can you hear that? Crunch, crunch. Soft and fluffy in the middle. Herby and spicy on the outside. That is delicious. Awesome, guys. We're going to see you on the next one. Give it a go. Send in your pictures. Whatever you're cooking, whatever you're doing in the kitchen. So I'd love to see your pictures and videos. Send them in to Dan. And we will see you next week in the cooking cupboard.